I'm super excited to invite the next panelist, Jerron Herman. I got to discover Jerron's work through Liz Jackson, who's a founder of the Disabled List, which is a disability-led advocacy group that is creating opportunities in design and cultural sector for disabled creators. And I'm so excited to collaborate with Jerron for the very first time. Can we welcome Jerron?
Thank you so much, Taeyoon. Like you said, I'm a dancer. I identify as a disabled dancer, and actually a disabled dancer with an interest in bridging disparate things together. So, ergo, computational theory and dance. So today, what we're going to be going through is a little bit about what the stewards and I kind of activated together, which was a scaffolding experience of taking the distributed networks, centralized, decentralized, and distributed networks into our bodies. I had other notes about care that I found that resonated with me in this experience, because in the disability perspective and experience, there is a historical to care, especially with its connotations of assistance or dependence, and it's all in how it connotes that we don't have agency. So when tasked with thinking about care, I think there is a shift as we particularly advance disability narratives from disabled folk who can speak to whether or not they have the same kinds of connotations with care and assistance that we think they do. And I think that within mutuality, as we discover mutuality in the ideas of care, we'll see that there's the entry of disability genius, or even how that's described, the singularly distinct output of disabled folk, will communicate a new way of working. So we'll use this way of what Chancey talked about with allyship to really deepen our communal understanding of care by using the disability experience. And so I was able to produce a dialogic with these stewards. But what we're going to do, like I said, scaffold the movement of a distributed web network of care. So from your seats, I'd like you to feel your body sink into your chair first. Feel the weight of your tailbone in your seat. And just slowly start to lift the crown of your head up to the sky as though a balloon was grabbing it and lifting it. Feel a weightlessness as you're grounded. So you're grounding and you're also lifting. Awesome. This experience is like how we're creating our own network, right? We have to recognize before we start to experience other people's networks that we have our own individual sense of network. So we're going to go through an experience that is to really understand the textures of our own body. So as you're lifting up the crown of your head, take your right arm and extend it out in a safe position. Maybe it's in front, maybe it's behind you, maybe if it's up, yeah. Make it safe. And then start to just move it around a little bit in a circular motion, but keeping the tension of the arm as straight or as tense as it can be. And student, thank you. You've already incited the score. I have the beautiful accompaniment of student in the back. And now rest that right hand onto your right thigh. And feel the pressure of your right hand on your right thigh. Maybe even grasp your thigh a little bit. And release. Grasp. Release. Take your left arm and cradle yourself. See, we have different interpretations of cradling. Take your right arm and cradle yourself. And from this position, start to contract into your chair. Maybe your head dips down to your chest. Maybe you start to collapse. Maybe you're upright. And then I'd like you to rise up into your chair and take again one of your hands and place it across your mouth. Place it across. And go back and forth between the sides of your mouth. Feel the texture of your skin. And place your hand down. That's your network, your own individual network. From there, we talked about experiencing a sensory of togetherness, a sensation of togetherness. And so I'd like to welcome the stewards to create a circle, and any of you in the audience and part of the participants to enter into the circle as well. Great. Lovely, lovely. Let's open up the left side of the circle. Great, wow. Let's find a place. Yeah, wonderful. We have some more space over here too if you want to fill out over here, closer to the front of the house. Awesome. So in rehearsal, we had a lot less people. So we're gonna figure this out. Where you are standing right now, I'd like you to slowly and safely start to make sure that you have little space between you and the next person between you. Make sure that you're tighter with this person next to you. That you can feel their shoulder. You can feel their arm. I can't feel your arm. There we go. And just start to feel that person. You don't have to overtly touch them, but you just sense them. I'd like you to, in a safe manner, start to lean your head to the right side, slowly connecting with the person on your right. Hello. And as you feel their shoulder, why don't you increase your weight on their shoulder just a little bit, if you can, safely. And if you are falling out of it, then don't do it. And just feel that shoulder blade, or that arm, or for some of you, that ankle bone, because you're so far down. And lift up from that position and go to the left, same way. And in this place, if you can, have your body shift even more onto that person. Let your weight shift onto that person if they can, safely. It doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe it doesn't have to register too much. And lift up. From this same place, I'd like us to feel the sensation of each other's arms, increasing the pressure of our arms against each other. Yeah, feel that tension. And I'd like us to all walk into the middle of the circle together, keeping that tension together, taking slow steps. Sustain the tension between each other. Make sure that you're not going too forward without your people. Keep going. Keep going. Freeze. Go backwards. Keep your people with you. Yes, watch your feet backing up, as they say. Watch out for chairs. Wonderful. Now release. The one thing that we did in this experiment as well was scaffold the 3 states: centralized, decentralized, and distributed, as I've been saying. I'd like you to find a place in the room that is orienting to this side of the room. So why don't you spread out? This side is the so where the east side. Thank you. Towards the entrance, exactly.
Yeah.
If you can. Oops, excuse me. And also, I'd like to invite Lori to come up here where I am, because she's going to describe what I'm actually doing. So in the centralized place, you don't have autonomy. So what I'm going to do is take you through a piece of choreography that you're going to have to take on. And then we'll figure out what happens next. So you ready, Lori?
I'm ready.
All right.
He raises his right arm up above his head and slowly brings his fingers down about halfway with the elbow 90 degrees to his waist and shifts forward with a front step, wraps his right arm around his left torso, leans over to the left with his torso, and then curls over to the right, back around to the left again. He curls, and then his one step to the left, a step up, wrapping his arm over to the right. His left arm is out. His right arm is on the rear. He steps backwards by one step. He shifts his elbow 90 degrees to his side. The right arm comes over to the right, and then he steps his body to the right to meet it. His arm goes out in front, and he steps forward into his arm to meet it. He turns 90 degrees to the left, wrapping his arm around the side. His arm goes out. He steps forward to the left to meet it. His hands rise up from the front, down about halfway to a table, stepping forward into his hand. Right hand wraps around his body. He curls over to the left, turns to the right, still curled over, wraps his right arm around to the left, reaches out and steps to the left to meet it. He turns over to the right, wrapping his hand to his hip, setting it backwards, and then steps backwards into his right hand. Right hand turns 90 degrees. He puts it out, and he steps right one step. Hand goes forward. He steps one step forward. His right hand goes out to the left. He steps to the left to meet it. His hands go up above his head, then comes down about halfway into a table, and he steps his body forward into the table. The arm wraps around to the left. He curls over. He curls back over to the right, his arms wrapping around. Halfway curled over, he reaches out to the left with his right hand and steps left into his right hand. He curls over to the right, hand on his back. Hand goes out behind him. He steps backwards into his right hand. Turns with his hand out to the right, makes a step into meeting his hand on the right. His arm goes forward. He steps forward into his right hand. Right hand goes out to the left to beside him. He steps sideways one step.
I'll do it one more time.
His hands go up to the top, down to the table. At 90 degrees, he steps forward to his hand. His right hand wraps around his torso. He curls over to the left and then curls back over to the right with it. While curled over to the right, his right hand then reaches to the left, and he steps one step left to meet it. He curls around with his right hand to his rear. He puts it out behind him and steps one step backward into his hand. His hand goes to his right, out. He steps to the right one step to meet it. He curls his hand forward, steps forward one step and meets his hand. He curls over to the left with his right hand. He reaches out sideways and takes one step left into his hand.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lori. Oh, can you take this back to, yeah. So in your place, please, stay here with us. You're still in this place. Stewards, we're going to start to create decentralized networks, smaller networks. We have 3. We're going to have 3 separate circles where you're going to take on this choreography in that circle again. So stewards, would you help me encourage our folks to create 3 separate 3 separate circles. So we'll have one over here. There's one in this upper right corner. Yeah, I think that we'll make this 3. Actually, can we combine these 2?
Yeah. That's
And we'll combine these
became
2.
a 4.
Well, 4 is fine?
No, let's combine them. Yeah, let's combine these, the large one here. Yeah.
Great, well, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Great. Oops, sorry. Actually, I'll stay back here. In this position, when I say go, you're going to take on the same movement that you just learned, and your intention is you're going to imagine an invisible string that connects you all, and yet it's not there. So from here, recreate the movement and see what happens. Honestly, that's all that needs to happen. So when I say go, you will begin at your own pace.
And those who haven't actually come up to the main stage, you're still welcome to come out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you like to try it.
All right.
Oh, we have a question. You don't have to be, no. Yeah. And then go.
So
I'm back here doing it too if you need a reference. The one thing that you do want to try is keep your circle as intact as it can be. It's good that you're not all on the same plane. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that's great.
still not pass it up.
Oh, not yet, actually.
Not yet?
Just a little bit.
Not yet.
1 second. Yeah. We'll pause on that. Keep at it for a little bit more. Yeah. Do one more full one, and then pause. Awesome. Now reform that circle. Reform your circle. And you will be given a string, this string. Taeyoon, will you help me? So we're going to pass the string to our participant. Yeah. Oh, you have one already. Awesome. So we've gone through centralized, where the objective was to just interpret, decentralized, where though you were in a smaller situation, a more intimate, if you will, there was still the task of my movement to interpret. Now I'd like to introduce the advent of, yes, the string. Actually, for this side, stewards, we don't have to create a too much of a disconnected network. But this is great. In this configuration now, you're going to speak to each other, communicate as you will. You have the choice of three phrases: may I, can I, or I will. To communicate when you will move and how you will move through your network. You also now have this string where your intention is to remain connected as you complete the choreography. So with these new tasks, you're going to complete the choreography, stay connected, but then also try and create connections that otherwise weren't there the first time that you tried this choreography. Now I'll just wait for one of the circles to complete their circle, and we'll begin. Actually, this side that's already ready, please begin. You're going to start with the choreography, trying to make connections, and stay connected to the string. And go. And when this side, yes, exactly, thank you. And I think that you will just keep the spool.
You can pull the strings so there's more space. You want to come here? Like, make space for more strings. Yeah, I'm trying to give more slack for other side, so if you could pass on more of the strings. Yeah.
Nice.
You can also change the spots. If you, want. You can change spots too if you want to come here. Yeah.
And freeze. Freeze for a sec. I want to affirm what you're doing already, which is that some of the choreography has gone out the window. The other thing, though, is that should you want to leave this network, you can. Continue.
Give you the spool.
Now let's interpret some states for just a sec. Go as luxuriously as you can. Move as luxuriously as you can. Love it. and begin to disconnect from this network that we've created. Either you let it hang, unfurl yourself, and let the string just fall. Maybe commemorate your circle. Maybe go back to your seat.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jerron.
And thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, Jerron, for that beautiful choreography. And thanks to Student for a wonderful soundtrack.